And obviously, that one song doesn't represent Doechii entirely, but I think it's a style that some people aren't up to, which is why in some circles on the internet, she has been dismissed as making Harriet Tubman music.
What the fuck?
A few moments later.
Hey guys!
Are ya ready, kids?
Welcome back to my channel, and if you didn't already know, act like you know, because it's that, so let's hop right into this video. So today, we are reacting to the Doechii Hate by Honest. So before we hop in, you already know what to do. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's just hop right into this video.
Industry plant is a term that I really think has been worn to its last leg.
Overused,
it's always
for
been
sure.
a pretty popular term, but I really think the internet has latched onto this phrase for any artist that gains popularity. And it's one of those phrases that have just been greatly mischaracterized. And I do think industry plants exist. An industry plant is someone that gives the illusion that they are smaller artists doing a DIY, grassroots, and I think in recent history it'd be like a bedroom type of project. But in reality, there was always a label and major backing behind that artist.
Right.
But we're going to sell the audiences the illusion that they're this struggling small timer to gain interest. That to me is the true definition of an industry plant. Faking an origin story, using the struggling artist come up as a costume, and they're just being deception in the way you are introduced to sell an image.
We don't do that here.
Doechii is someone that is literally the exact
She's
opposite
far
of
from
that.
it. It's insane.
Her come up, her social media presence, her playing the long game is verifiable.
Literally.
From old songs to old videos. In a sense, I feel like she's had a rise similar to Chaperone, where they've been bubbling and trying for years, and they finally reached the mainstream. But I think there's been a more intense vitriol for Doechii than people who have risen in the same vein as her.
You want to know why people are so up in arms and now they've flipped the switch? At least, you know, the people that are hating now, the new haters, the newcomers.
But the gag is,
those people are only doing that because of a recent interview that she did playing a game. Basically, she answered, I think it was something about straight men. I gotta look it up because I don't want to like put words in her mouth. Basically, she was on a show or whatever on YouTube, basically on a platform. She was just answering questions. And one of the questions were, what's a red flag when dating? When it comes to dating. And she said straight men and started laughing with her friend and like high-fived. So a lot of men really got up in arms when she said straight men, because they took that as another hit and they flipped the switch and was like, she's an industry plant, she's like garnering all this attention all of a sudden. And it's simply not true. She really hit a bone, a muscle. She really hit something, and it just triggered them, long story short. But I don't think that she deserves this sort of backlash that she's receiving. If anything, it's just showing that people are just too sensitive, in my opinion.
That's my opinion!
So, I didn't think that it was much of a big deal.
I think there's a bunch of factors that lead to her receiving this type of vitriol, ranging from her being a black woman, and one that isn't ambiguous or light-skinned. Another thing is people not really taking to or understanding her more camp and avant-garde approach to her artistry. Like her breakout hit Denial is a River is not a song with a pop hook. It's quirky as hell. It's not an obvious radio hit or song. And obviously that one song doesn't represent Doechii entirely, but I think it's a style that some people aren't up to, which is why in some circles on the internet, she has been dismissed as making Harriet Tubman music.
what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Which is intended to be a diss towards her being more self-serious and embracing conscious rap as well. I just think people who say stuff like this are stupid.
They are.
And two, have never actually listened to Doechii, or don't care to because she's not serving her music in a way that is easily digestible to them. It's also crazy because Doechii had a hit with What It Is, and it didn't garner as much backlash. A song that's more straight down the middle radio pop has a big hook, and I'm not sure if people are aware that it's Doechii that sung that song.
Probably
I think
not.
one of the things that makes Doechii so different and feel like a breath of fresh air is that she embraces sexuality.
Yeah, she
talks
does.
like everyone else.
She does.
But she also spills out her emotions. Like Denial is a River and Anxiety are literally just therapy sessions.
Yeah.
But she's also fun and avant-garde and sexual. And I do think that is something that is needed for women in hip-hop at the moment. For a while, there seemed to be a monopoly over the subject matter that hit it big in the mainstream. But I really think Doechii is showing that there's a market need and money to be made, and women in rap not being pigeonholed to one thing.
Right.
In general, I just think the tides are shifting in popular music across the board, where people are craving something different. People are ready to embrace the avant-garde again.
Yeah.
I think Doechii is indicative of that change. I saw the
Fair.
internet turn out of favor for Doechii once she won her Grammy for Best Rap Album,
Yeah.
becoming only the third woman to do so.
Oh, I saw a lot of the vitriol against her and whatnot. Once she won Woman of the Year, oh, people were up in arms. They were like, "What about Glorilla? What about Glorilla?" Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Glorilla will have her turn. Glorilla is having her turn. In fact, she's doing very well. Thank you." You know, I feel like people always try to compare apples to oranges, and they try to, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me why all of this hate, but again, people just don't know. You can block people, you don't have to enjoy the person. You don't have to listen to her music. I feel like at this point, people are going to start hate listening, but I mean, hey, like Cardi B said, you know, you still gonna make the money, hating them or not. You still gonna line the pockets.
A lot of Future and Metro Boomin fans, since she went over their album, which was far more commercially successful, while Doechii was more of the critical favorite. Sometimes the Grammys can be unpredictable, but Doechii's album was much better, and I think well-deserved. And the hate seems to have just really kicked up from this Grammy win, which is predictable, especially if you're a woman in hip-hop, getting such a high honor within the boys' club. There's going to be some form of backlash. Then there's been a very intense conversation about her artistic identity, with people saying she's copying Azealia Banks,
What?
Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat. The latter is
Hold on. I'm so sorry, but she is not copying them. If anything, she's influenced by Nicki Minaj, because we've already heard that. If people need to do their research before they just keep flapping them gums, and you're not doing your research. She grew up on Nicki Minaj, just like a lot of us did. Sure, she's influenced, but she definitely has her own unique sound. We can't take that away from her. You can't lie. You can't lie and say that, because it just sounds stupid.
Because I feel like Doechii and Doja have some of the same influences, and that's where the similarities begin and end. I do hear Nicki. I do hear Azealia in some of her earlier work. I also hear various other hip-hop icons that she tributed on her mixtape. And she has not been shy about who has influenced her.
Right.
But I find it totally unfair and untrue to say that she's a copy of someone. Because she definitely has her own thing going on and has stepped into artistic territory that some of her influences never have. She is an obvious talent, so I definitely think she has the will to hone in on herself.
Absolutely.
It's also interesting how cyclical the so-and-so copies this artist trope is. From Lil' Kim to Nicki, from Madonna to Gaga, from Michael Jackson to The Weeknd. There is always going to be someone that came before that is an obvious influence. That is just the name of the game. Very few people from the 90s onward can claim that they blazed a trail that is so unique that it doesn't stand on the backs of the people that came before them. And since we are in a transitional period where the artists that ruled the 2000s and 2010s are starting to see their influence in the newer generation of stars, it's easier to point to references, especially because the 2000s and 2010 stars are also artists that fostered their careers on the internet, and they're the first point of reference for a lot of people. So yeah, Doechii does have some similarities to her influences, as most artists do, but I don't think it deters from her talent and her own unique offering. You listen to Alligator Bites Never Heal, and no female rap album over the last decade sounds like that record at all. We also have the added fact of someone reaching a new level of success. Naturally, people will fight to resist it. Since there's no heavy concrete counterculture anymore. Hating popular things or things that become popular is the new wave. And this is not to say you must like Doechii.
So whack.
You must like her music. If she isn't for you, that's completely fine.
Right.
But I think discrediting her journey and work is not right. And then we have the case of Doechii appearing everywhere. On shows, on red carpets, in interviews. And I know this might sound crazy, so insane, and so unbelievable, but promotion is a real thing.
Okay.
Crazy, right? Labels are supposed to promote their artists.
Exactly.
And I hate to break it to the hardheads, but every pop artist that you know, every artist you hear on the radio, every artist you see on the talk show, every icon from the 2010s and 2000s that you rave about, have been promoted and have a label push.
And do.
No superstar in history has become a superstar because people love them that much. They may stay a superstar because people love them that much, but they do not become one because of that.
Right.
It's like your favorite artist did not sign a multi-million-dollar deal for the vanity of it. They want promotion. They want to be heard.
And then also, let's just add that she also earned that promotion. She earned it all. I'm sorry. I'm going to just say my last thoughts on this. She earned it all, and can't nobody take it away from her. She earned it from start to now in her journey. She's soaring. She's doing the damn thing. And I think a lot of times too, people can have a disdain for people like that, people that chase their dreams relentlessly, because sometimes people give up on their dreams, and you know what, that's fine. If you want to choose and do another path, cool, but don't project and be so out of left field with your comments and opinions about Doechii. Doechii's been that girl. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep saying that. She's been that girl, will always be that girl. And I'm just happy to see her soar. I'm happy to see her keep getting, you know, recognition for all of the work that she has been putting in. Okay? Nobody just does things because they just do them. That would be very disingenuous. You do them because maybe they make you feel a certain type of way. You do them to get some sort of recognition. You do them to get a different result. You do, like, people do things for a reason. Even if it's just that it makes you happy. So anyways, I'm hoping that Doechii does not listen to all this stupid nonsense that's going on about her and whatever, and that she keeps on a good head and that she keeps on thriving, because she is representing for a lot of the darker skinned women that are trying to be in the industry, that already are in the industry, and that have just been pushed aside, showing that although you have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, your space and opportunity is there, and people like Doechii is paving a way so you may not have to work 3 times as hard, maybe twice as hard, and maybe the next generation 1 time as hard, little by little, chipping it all away. So thanks. And anyways, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.